welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
Semester is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
What's going on, world? My name is Serial Sensei. This is the Dojotalkpodcast. We are on episode number 158. Just coming in with a quick little disclaimer because this episode is a little different than what we did before. So this episode that you are about to listen to is actually part of a longer 3-hour conversation that me and the Anti-Cool had of an episode we recorded. The portion you're going to hear is actually the mailbag episode. So first of all, I want to thank everybody who submitted questions via Twitter, via Tumblr, via email. Thank you guys. Literally, this episode would not have happened if you did not submit those questions, and they were all really, really good, really dope, really entertaining questions. So we appreciate you guys. But like I said, the episode ended up running a bit long because we covered, we did the mailbag portion, and then we covered Glory 71, Glory 72. We talked the Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz fight, and a few other like fights that we had happened to see throughout the week. And the episode ended up running about 3 hours plus some. And I didn't want to keep you guys here for that long, so we decided to split the episode into two. So the portion you're going to hear today is the mailbag portion of the episode, so it'll just jump straight into when we get to answering you guys' questions. And then next week, you guys will get the fight portion of the episode where we cover Glory and boxing and all that other stuff that happened, since there isn't really any UFC going on right now. They're on hiatus until December 7th, and we wanted to keep some content going for the in between like that little dead space. So you're going to listen to the mailbag portion this episode, which you're about to hear, and then you'll get the fight portion next week on Saturday. But once again, thank you guys for submitting questions. Really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun answering these. As always, you can send questions to Dojotalkpodcast at yahoo.com at any time, or just hit me up on Twitter, or if you see me or the Anti-Cool on Twitter, on Tumblr, man, hit us up, ask us questions, and we'll definitely answer them on the show. But thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode. But, yeah, let's get on to these questions. So once again, man, thank you guys for sending in questions. Came to the aid. I appreciate all of y'all. And, like, these are honestly, like, these are some really good quality, some good quality questions, a couple of really interesting ones. But no, I like this, man. So shout outs to everybody who sent in questions, man. I really, 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 really appreciate you guys. So let's get this started. So pretty much all of these, the bulk of these came from Twitter. I had one email and then a couple from Tumblr. But for pretty much everybody, I'll mention to everybody at name in case you guys want to follow these people. So starting from the top, at Tev Talks MMA. Shout out to Tev. If you're on MMA Twitter, you've probably seen him around. His question is, he has a two-parter. First part, how do you see the logjam at 135 playing out between Aldo, Moraes, Jan and Faber, and then having Aljo in the wing? And then his second question is, how does that logjam play out, and who do we think Cejudo will fight next?
You wanna go? You wanna give it a go? While give it a thought? Give it some thought.
Yeah. For one, this is one of the most interesting log jams. Like, if you'd have told me a couple years ago that the log jam at 135 would somehow involve Faber on the other side of Petr Yan, I'd be really confused. And that somehow Jose Aldo would insert himself into the picture. Oh, yeah. Wow. I don't know. But, yeah. God, this is a really... So I feel pretty comfortable. I think Jan's going to beat the bricks off of Faber. I say that, and then Faber might pull off something crazy. But I feel pretty comfortable saying Jan's probably going to get by Faber. Aldo Moraes is a really interesting matchup. But I love Aldo, man. One of my all-time favorites. But I just don't envision this weight cut going well for him. And I think it's going to cost him this fight.
Yeah, he looks like shit.
Yeah, those pictures do not look good. And yeah, I would love to see Aldo win, but if I'm being realistic, I think Moraes probably takes that. Um, I want to see the fight that I think I want to see most is Cejudo and Aljo. I think with the streak Aljo's been on, and I think we've clearly seen like improvements from him. I think he could be a really interesting matchup for Cejudo. Um, I think he could give Cejudo some problems. I don't know if he'll win, but I think he could make it a really of everybody listed. I think he would give Cejudo, I think, the best fight. Um, so I hope Cejudo fights Aljo. And then as far as the rest of the logjam, I'm down for assuming Petr Yan beats Faber, which I think most of us think he will. I'm down for seeing Yan fight the winner of Moraes. Actually, you know what? Does Yan really need another fight to prove himself? Because to be honest,
Does he need? Let me put it this: does he need another fight to stand out when the people who he is, um, the people who he's competing with title shot are, Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar, guys who've headlined pay-per-views before.
uh, I guess, yeah. So yeah, I say give the shot to Aljo. I want to see that fight. Let Yan get the winner of something. Is there anybody else we're missing in this 135 picture? Because Cody's kind of just out there. He's kind of gone.
And
Cruz is kind of gone. Munoz was kind of working his way up there, but Aljo kind of knocked him down a peg.
Sandhagen, I guess.
Yeah, Sandhagen's close. He's almost.
I mean, if he beats Edgar,
Yeah, he's pretty much right there.
um,
So yeah, I think you have a nice kind of list of contenders for Cejudo. So do Cejudo Aljo. Keep Sandhagen in the wing, and let Yan. I would say, you know what? Actually, do the Aljo fight. Let Yan get the winner of Aldo Moraes, which will probably be Moraes. Moraes versus Yan would be a really awesome matchup, and regardless of who wins, that's a great name for either of them to have on their resume. And then you keep Sandhagen in the wing. Maybe if somebody gets injured, they can't make the fight. If Sandhagen gets the win over Edgar, um, let him kind of be the guy who can be the fill-in, in case one of the other guys has to fall out of the fight for whatever reason. Yeah, that's kind of how I see that whole situation going.
yeah. Like it's so like I honestly think the only people like Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling are like in my eyes the two top dudes. Because I'm like you, I favor Yan heavily over Faber. But like Frank Edgar beats Cortez or beats Sandhagen, like I can see the UFC being like, you know what, we're gonna give Cejudo what he wants because he did call out Edgar. That's like of all the people on Cejudo's list, he called out Faber, Edgar. Who was the other dude that I'm missing?
Somebody I think we didn't want to see.
It was definitely somebody we don't want to see. Hold up. Aldo and Dominick Cruz and Valentina Shevchenko for some reason. But Cruz hasn't fought in like forever. Although I don't think either one of us would pick him over Moraes, though. Even if he wins, I don't think it'll be like a fun win. I think it'll be like a sad win. Um, I could see him holding out for Edgar. Like, that's the thing. Like if Edgar beats Sandhagen, which is not a given, I think Sandhagen has a good shot, a better than good shot at winning at that fight. Like, does Cejudo just sit on the belt and be like, I want to fight Frankie Edgar? Because that's where the most money is.
Yeah, that's kind of how things go nowadays. Everybody's trying to call their own. Everybody doesn't abide by the next man up policy.
Yeah.
Some dudes are just trying to kind of cherry pick.
As for actual like matchups and how they work out, like I'd need to see him at 135, but I don't. I don't think Edgar. Uh, I don't like that fight for him. I don't think he's gonna be able to take Cejudo down. If he does, I don't think he's gonna be able to keep him down. And I don't think he's gonna be able to deal with the pressure. When you add in the weight cut and the speed difference, like I don't think that's gonna go well for him. And that's the other thing. Like I don't for the Sterling fight. I don't know how well Sterling deals with pressure for someone who's really athletic. Because like he dealt with um, Munoz pretty well, but Munoz is not Cejudo.
Right.
Like he's smaller, Cejudo, but like he can also wrestle. He can also like. I don't think he hits any harder, but like dude is absolutely faster than him. And I'm curious, like, how does Sterling deal with that type of pressure, like the pressure that that he was able to put on Marlon Moraes, and then
Right.
Jan,
And the fact that he does not go away.
yeah, and with Jan, like we've seen Jan get taken down before, in his fight with Magomed Magomedov in ACB, so, but like at the same time, Magomed Magomedov was bigger than Jan, and that was a big part of him being able to get those not were they clinch takedowns? They were a lot more muscle than they were technique. I'll put it.
Right.
Which, in all honesty, is kind of how Cejudo wrestles. He will drive through you until like you are just unable to stop him. But like we've seen Jan grow, like so. I'm not sure how this all plays out. This it feels like a cop out, but I can see Cejudo beating all three of them.
We'll see. If nothing else, kind of a good problem to have because all of these guys are really good contenders.
Right.
So at the end of the day, hopefully we'll at least get some pretty entertaining fights out of this.
I really want to know if they're going to make Cejudo, or not Cejudo, Aljamain Sterling take another fight when he comes back, because they were going to make the Edgar Sterling fight. So I want to know, will they make him take another fight to get a shot at him, and use that as like a justification for sticking Edgar in there?
All right.
Should Edgar win?
We'll see.
Like, odd man out, Cody Sandhagen. That I think that's an interesting fight.
I'm down to see Cody fight anybody at this point. Like that man is very violent, but very like controlled violent and very active. I think he's the kind of guy who has a shot in any fights he's in. He's not gonna be easy out. But no, it's an interesting logjam, but good fights all around. So as fans, hopefully, depending on how these fights play out, we'll win. We'll get a lot of good matchups. But shout out to Tev Talks MMA. Appreciate the question. Moving on to at the Fight Geek MMA. Shout out to Fight Geek. We kind of touched on his first question already. Aldo versus Moraes predictions. Just to slightly maybe elaborate more. I just think the weight cut is gonna be too much. Like I don't know how Aldo's gonna look, but I don't envision him eating punches well. Like I feel like if he gets hit with that first hard hook, or God forbid, Moraes catches him with a head kick, like that might be it.
Dude, imagine a body shot. Like there is nothing down there protecting him.
Yeah, right. Like there's no meat on the bones anymore, man. He is a bare, brittle skeleton out there at 35. I think that's gonna be a fight where we're all gonna be really sad after that's over. Yeah, it's not gonna be a fun. I love the matchup. If this was at 45, I'd be ecstatic. But at 35, yeah, I think a lot of us are just gonna be kind of sad after this is over. Second question, kind of ties into the weight cutting we talked about earlier. His question is, what is the maximum you think a fighter should be allowed to miss weight but still fight? Meaning, should there be a mandatory 5-pound threshold, or should it stay a case by case and be up to the fighter?
I think it should be 5 pounds. Or you know what? Actually, fuck it. Up to a fighter. Take life in your own hands, man.
See, I was going in the complete opposite. It needs to be away from the fighter. I feel like that's how we got here in the first
Well, no,
place.
the other fighter.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, sorry, that's I reworded his question. Yeah, he said should it be up to the other fighter?
Yeah. Fuck it. You want to fight somebody who's 20 pounds overweight? I say go for it.
Like the fan in me wants to say that because I feel like some people would have the attitude like, and I get it. Like I couldn't imagine I did all this training only for me not to be able to fight, and I'd be like, just like I don't care at this point. Like I came here, I traveled, I did all this work, I want to
For
fight.
that, and like, and depending on the type of situation it is, you can get yourself a big ass purse.
Right.
Like, so, like, if you're the main event or whatever, and like the other guy comes in like 10 pounds overweight, like you fuck 20%, you can get like 40-50%. Plus a
Right.
little something extra if you're like, I will only accept this fight if you bump my pay.
Right.
So,
I'm gonna lean the other way. Only because I think only reason why is I saw a story the other day. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but it was somebody who used to fight in Titan FC. He took a fight in another organization, and I don't know if it was primarily due to his weight cut, but it may have been a link. I'm not sure, but he ended up having like a stroke.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe it could be one of those things that could change down the road, but I'm kind of erring on the side of we need to take care of this before something terrible happens. Because I mean, one championship had somebody die because of a weight cut, which prompted them to make the changes that they had to make.
I mean, sure, Brazil had somebody die because of a weight cut.
Yeah, like so I feel like we need to nip this in the bud. Like, no, don't leave it up to the fighter. Either 5 pounds is cool, or maybe you could make it like a percentage thing, toward because I think that's what one does, isn't it? Like you have to be
You have to be within like a certain body percentage
So-
and hydration.
right.
And stuff.
So-
Even though that's not true, because Sage Northcutt's about to be a lightweight again.
yeah. I think one idea works on paper, but nobody knows if they actually like do it. But on paper, I like that idea. So if it's not a 5 pound threshold, make it like a percentage thing. And if they can't meet that, like I think you just really before something bad happens. Well, bad things have already happened. Before bad things continue to happen, i.e., and they get worse. Like I think this needs to really, really, really be nipped in the bud. Like they really need to send a message like this weight cutting. Like we can't make this a thing anymore. Either get you a nutritionist and learn how to do this the right way. Take care of yourself when you're not fighting, or you need to move up to the weight class you probably should be at. And maybe down the road when things have gotten fixed, maybe be a little more lenient. Leave it up to the fighter. Let them kind of make the decision. But I think this is one of those issues that you kind of just got to throw the gavel has to come down, like before it gets like too ridiculous. But no, weight cutting that'll continue to just be a hot topic because it's just always a thing. But yeah, I'm down for bring the gavel down, man.
All I'm saying is we didn't have this issue of weight cutting when everything was open weight, so
Just, hey man, if you wanna pull the BJ Penn, how did BJ Penn fight Lyoto Machida? That is, well, I mean he was like 200 something, but
he just didn't work out.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything. He did nothing. That man definitely hit up the Popeyes line after training was over. But shout out to the Fight Geek MMA. Appreciate the question. Moving on to our homie Monte at your broke homie Tay. He's got 3 questions. First question: what fight do you want to see most next year?
Ooh,
I tried to cheat on this question, and I still couldn't. And I have an answer. I kind of have an answer, but I'll let you go first if you got one.
I mean, Khabib versus Tony.
All right, that was gonna be my answer, because I really, really want to see that fight. But I gotta do something different since you did Habib, Tony. You know what? I'm gonna go off the beaten path. Maybe not off the beaten path, but I'm gonna go Tenshin Takara.
Yeah,
Let's do that in 20. Let's do that in
that's a
2020.
good one. You
Yeah.
know what?
Let's
I'm gonna throw another one out there. Mighty Mouse killed Horiguchi too. I know it's not gonna happen. I know the DJ doesn't want it to happen, but I want it to happen. So
There you go. And if you guys don't know who Tenshin, Nasukawa, and Takara are, go do your Googles. Some very
Tension fought earlier this morning. Not Tension. Takaru fought earlier this morning.
yeah. Didn't get to see it, but it's Takaru fight, so it was, by default it was awesome because all all of his fights are awesome. So yeah, Tenshin Takaru, I'm on the Mighty Mouse Horiguchi bandwagon too. That I need that to happen somehow, some way, divine intervention. It's got to be a thing. But his second question, which champion do you see losing soonest, and who will it be to?
That's a good question.
I was even trying to think like outside of the UFC. Who I see catching an L?
But just sticking inside the UFC. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jones. I'm gonna put myself out there. Either by losing an infight or losing outside the cage. I mean, the real cheat answer here is to say Jorge Masvidal, because his title isn't real. But that would also acknowledge that none of the titles are real. So I'm gonna go with Jones. I don't know, man. There's just something about his performances since like this year that made me be like, okay, he's either not as committed as he used to be, or like people are actually starting to catch on to the style.
Yeah, it looks like the gap is closing slowly. It's closing. He's still winning, but yeah, I get that same feeling.
Like
that gap
and
is slowly
the
closing.
more and more he becomes just a straight up kickboxer, the more and more likely he is he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be Reyes. I don't know if he Jan Blachowicz. I don't believe so, but you know, I don't know if it's gonna be some dude we don't even know about yet. But like what's his name, Rakic. But like there's something about the way like that he is going straight kickboxing that I do not like. Because TBH, he's not a particularly great striker. Like he's fine, he's good. But like his early run was based around his ability to to pressure people into the cage and then take them down. And we've been seeing so little of that as of late. Like we saw a little bit against Gus at the end after he had shut down Gus's offense, but I don't like where it's heading for Jones. I'm gonna guess Jones, but watch it be like Max Holloway or somebody or Kamaru Usman.
I'm kind of going off of your. I'm gonna put myself out there, piggybacking off the fight you want to see. I'm gonna say Habib.
You're picking
contingent on if the Tony fight happens. Cause yeah, if the Tony fight happens, I'm picking Tony. I think Tony just has a. I don't know how to describe. Nobody knows how to describe Tony's style. That man is just. He's on another planet with what he does. I think he's gonna give Habib a lot of problems. I think if Habib can't put him away early, or if Tony can manage to stuff or get away from a couple takedowns, I think Tony's gonna get him in a lot of issues. So I'm gonna say Habib is gonna lose his belt to Tony, and I don't know if anybody really cares. I don't know when Julia Budd and Cyborg are gonna lock horns, but I think Cyborg's she's gonna take
Oh yeah,
it.
no, Cyborg. And you know what? Yeah, I'm picking Cyborg, but I would not. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be surprised, but something about Bud lately.
Bud is peaking.
Yes,
He's
Cyborg
peaking,
is
and it's
not.
at the yeah. Cyborg's not. Bud is peaking at the right time too. So we'll
But
see. But I'm gonna have faith in Cyborg that she might just
I mean, she could literally just take Julia Budd down and beat her up there, and then get the win that way. But who else is fighting in Bellator? Who else is champion?
So you got Lima Lay McFarlane, Ron Bader, Lima. Who's 85 champ?
What's his face? Jiu-Jitsu dude.
Lovato?
Yeah, Lovato. Well, like those are like divisions where, like 185. It's like who the fuck is gonna beat Lovato? Like, he beat Gary Mousasi, and he was the only other fighter in that division besides Machida. Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Jones. I'm not wagering my house on there or nothing, but I think Jones is I think 2020 we're gonna see him drop the title. Doesn't mean he won't get it back. Matter of fact, he should have lost the title already, but
he did 135.
135.
135 Santos. Yeah, all right, there you go. We got hot takes. You got Jones. I got Habib.
Yeah.
And today's last question. Y'all ready for McGregor Mayweather 2 Electric Boogaloo?
See, you know what? December's coming up. He's gonna be drinking. Are we sure that McGregor will make it to the fight?
Hold up. Is that the Zuffa fight maybe we'll get?
I would not be surprised. But I think UFC has their heart set on him versus Cowboy on the 18th.
We'll see. I'm not ready for that fight.
I'm not ready for McGregor to fight. That dude has 2 open sexual assault cases against him, in theory.
Yeah. Well, no, I think one of them. I think he beat one, or did he have 3?
No, there has been no word on either one of them.
I thought
they're I should rephrase. They're not cases. They're investigations. He beat one for the cell phone incident, where I think him and the dude settled out of court.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like the holidays are coming up. I'm not sure he's gonna even make it to 2020, to be honest with you, because like this dude is obviously out of control, and his team is out of control, because they're out here trying to corral bar matrices into their car and shit against their will, and that's not indicative of a good entourage, posse, whatever. So
we're not ready for the Electric Boogaloo.
I'm ready. You know what I'm ready for? I'm ready for more Brandon Schaub hot takes. Yeah, he's trying to get that second Showtime special, man.
Let's not bring him into 2020. Like, I don't want nothing to happen to him, but like let's leave Brendan Schaub in 2019 until he can show like he has to go on some type of like behavior program, like a self-improvement course.
I like somebody's theory about like why people like Brendan Schaub, and it's like in this era of like where like there are so many like talented people and there's so much like information and media and blah blah blah. It's comforting just to see like a mediocre dude just talk.
He is
mediocrity.
He's a bro.
Baby.
He's a bro if there ever was one. Moving on. But shout out to Tay, man. He's been a long time supporter. Appreciate you.
Shout out to Tay. Thank you again for Amu's PS View. Got to see all the CBS WNBA games. It's great.
There you go. Be like Tay, give us passwords. Any of y'all got a Disney Plus password out there, man. I'm trying to watch that Mandalorian though. But moving on. Next question comes from more on MMA. Shouts to homie JC and Flex. But more on MMA. His question is, what's the best way to get over a 3-week UFC hiatus? I got a couple of suggestions. If you have Fight Pass, I don't know if you do. You can pretend like it's a new fight night. Like order you some chicken wings or some pizza. Get your drinks in order. Fight some fight fans. Probably have to be hardcore fight fans. Friends over. Fire up one of them Pride cards. Just let that ride through for every week. Or cleanses are also good. I feel like this sport takes a lot from us, and a cleanse might just be what we need. Maybe we might not realize it, but maybe we need this UFC break to kind of cleanse ourselves. God knows we don't know what the rest of this year is going to give us, and we definitely don't know. 2020 might end up being crazy. So you might need to take a hiatus, or I would suggest, because I see I follow him on Twitter, so I know you're a Sixers fan, and lucky for you, you have a team that's actually doing pretty well right now. The NBA is popping, man. Like, the NBA is popping right now. It is a good time to catch up on some basketball or just watch a lot of basketball. I know it ain't the same as watching people getting head kicked. But the NBA is definitely popping right now, man. I don't know if you saw the ending to the Bulls-Charlotte game.
I did, and Stokes sent it to me. I was like, everybody on the Charlotte team, everybody on the Charlotte Hornets should have been fired immediately.
Bruh, that is one of the craziest endings to a game I've ever seen. Shout out to Zach LaVine hitting the game winner, getting the steal first, and then running out to the 3-point line and hitting the game winner.
He was like, we ain't going to overtime.
Right. He did this all within a span of they came back from a 6-point deficit in 12 seconds. Craziness. But now, yeah, this might be a good time to catch up on some other sports if you have the chance. Or, if you're browsing Twitter, you see one of these random cards in Brazil from a promotion you've never heard of, just click on it. Sometimes those give you some... I've seen some nasty KOs from promotions I've never heard of. From random people just fighting Brazil or Russia somewhere. And
remember that tweet about college football where it was college football is great because all these guys were the best players from their town or whatever, but one of them is a future one was a future accountant, and the other was a future 9-time Pro Bowl.
Right.
And when they meet, that's when the magic happens. That's regional MMA.
Indeed.
Someone is out there fighting the future Jose Aldo, and he is most likely a cashier.
Oh man, yeah, man. That regional MMA, man. It is You see some things, man. You see some things. What suggestions you have? How do we cope with this 3-week? And listen to us. Got to throw that in there.
But so what you're gonna want to do is go to the YouTube.com, and you're gonna go to the search bar, and you're gonna type in Super Fight League 1. That's Super Fight League 1. And then you're gonna click on, well, not the first video you see, but you're gonna find it, believe me. And when you do, it's gonna be your life from now on.
There you go. We've given them a lot of shout outs on this podcast.
It's been a while. It has been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. But in our earlier days, yeah, there was a Super Fight League mentioned every other episode. There you go, man. Hop on
the home of. It barely feels like MMA.
It barely feels like it's legal.
Yeah. The dudes fighting in the gym. I wonder if any of those dudes got paid, or they were just this is practice.
I cannot imagine there are many paydays getting If they are, those checks are looking real sketchy.
Mm.
Looking real sketchy. But there you go. Super Fight League, Pride.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah, you know. The usual. Just minus the UFC.
If you like kickboxing, there's some. Well, there's no kickboxing next week, but there's some boxing. I think. Hold up.
This is the time to use all of these streaming apps that we buy. If you have Fight Pass and DAZN.
Yeah.
But we probably like never look at them. This is the time to start looking at them.
Go back, study some old stuff. Like go back, watch some of the first UFCs or mid 2000s UFCs. I don't know when this dude got into the sport, but there's always stuff that you haven't seen before, and it's really good or really interesting. Go watch Sengoku. I don't know if the tapes are out there somewhere, but go watch Sengoku. That's great.
There you go. Fisticuffs galore, always out there. All right, shout outs to at More on MMA. Appreciate the question. Moving on, actually almost skipped this question by accident. Would have been mad 'cause it's actually a really good question. This is at Alex. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. At Alex Scafidi _ AlexScaffidi. Who quick shout outs to her. She did a video on Halloween of her running around in a little T-Rex outfit, punching and kicking, which you can imagine a T-Rex with those little arms trying to throw a punch is kind of wild. Just running around on the sidewalk, and I remixed the video and put the Rocky theme in it, and it was it was amazing. Shout out to Alex. You won Twitter that day. I laughed a lot. I watched that video on loop so many times because something about the baby T-Rex arms just. I'm a little kid. Stuff like that just makes me laugh.
Did you see that video of the guy running? Like he hits the corner and like runs into somebody and just keeps going, and then the person turns around the corner, and then there's the T-Rex.
No. No. I have not seen that. Oh man. Shout out to T-Rexes. I mean, y'all ain't around no more, but y'all had a good run.
Did they? I honestly don't know.
But Alex's question, she asked, in 2021, she has a two-parter. In 2021, does the UFC re-sign a deal with Reebok? Thoughts one way or the other? And then, in what ways do you feel this partnership can be improved upon so the fighters benefit more creatively and financially?
Yeah, this is a good question. I guess it just depends on what the market is in 2021. Like now that they're on ESPN, like does somebody else want to get into that arena? You know what I mean? Does Nike or Under Armour want to come in and spread money in the sport? Like, because a couple of times Nike has tried to get into the sport, they have ended up regretting it. Shouts to Jon Jones. Like, do I want them to re-up the like? Not really. Like, we could be getting Manscaped sponsorships. Like one. Like, who doesn't want to see like a championship fight, and then like in the one corner you got the one guy who has Manscaped right on the front of his shorts.
Right.
But like ways that can be improved, make the kids less ugly. Like that's really all I could think. Like give them some personality. Because most of them are ugly as hell. Like not, I should say most of them. They're so basic.
They're all ugly. There's no most. They're all 100%. All of them. They're all terrible.
Like, and this sucks about MMA, where like we don't really have an apparel line because everybody fights basically. I want to say the same, but like everybody like who do you know wears like Muay Thai shorts outside of Muay Thai practice or just walking around or whatever. It's so different from like basketball where like everybody, you can wear shoes anywhere. Like you don't wear shoes in this sport. Mm.
Yeah, it's do they re-sign the deal?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't want them to. I would love to see this partnership be over, but they most likely will because I don't see Nike or Adidas or I don't think anybody else is really gonna be jumping in to make UFC apparel. So they probably do unfortunately re-sign. Though I don't know, the ESPN deal could help. We'll
Yeah,
see. I'm pretty sure there'll be rumblings around like the end of 2020.
they'll definitely be putting like stuff out there to like. They'll definitely be putting feelers out there.
Right. Yeah. They'll try to bait some people, see if they can get some bidders, see who's offering what. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll be a thing.
As for how it could be more, I don't know, beneficial or for the fighters, literally the only way I could think of it being more beneficial for all the fighters or most of the fighters is if they unionize, and that's not happening. So no collective bargaining, you don't get a seat at the table. Um,
Yeah.
on the individual level, maybe we could see more independent apparel deals. So you, as opposed to just having the kit, you actually have like designs and like a line, like
Yeah.
um.
They.
But even then, like Adidas is like, does Adidas do like personalized lines and stuff like that? Because like,
I don't know if they do, but I don't see any reason why they like couldn't.
I mean, Pusha T
And the
has a
thing is,
line of
like,
shoes, right? I'm not crazy.
yeah, they definitely have a lot of shoes.
No,
I,
like,
I feel like as this deal is constructed now, like obviously there probably won't be a union next year or any of that. I guess the only way to improve it, I don't know how much it'll be financially, but at least creatively, is like and it's probably not gonna happen because I don't see them putting much effort into this. Clearly they don't the way they look, but like the UFC really just needs to take clues from other sports. Like when you look at like NBA jerseys and like they're like iconic. Like you see the Knicks jersey, you know what that is. Like you see the old school Raptors jersey that has like the raptor on the front. Like you know what that is. Um, the NFL has like classic jerseys, and then you see like they did the color rush. I don't know if they still do those. I hope they do because some of them are actually really really dope looking. They have like the color rush jersey that they did for like people who are colorblind, where like they'll make the uniform like all one color.
mm-hmm.
Like they do innovative things to their apparel that I mean I don't really buy jerseys that often, but like they just make them. You can tell they put like actual thought and idea into what the apparel is. Like it's not a. It's almost like a part of the sport. Like you recognize the jersey as almost like it's like a symbol, and just these MMA kits don't have that. And even if it doesn't represent like the entire UFC, like you said, at least make them more personalized.
Like I could see like if Connor and Jon Jones weren't such massive like PR nightmares, they probably would have their own personal lines by now.
right. Them, even though he's a little older and probably on his way out the door, there's no reason like Anderson Silva shouldn't have like a legendary like like fight apparel line or design that like all of his fans could wear and like it would actually look good. Like if they're gonna re-sign with Reebok, they need to sit down at the table and really like
Like
get
remember Jones's Not Quite Human T-shirt,
yeah.
which was kind of ugly because it just had his face in the middle of the words, but like that was something.
And the fighters like they every now and again you'll get like a fighter will give you a audio bit that you could definitely just turn into a shirt.
I would love an
Like
Adidas "My Balls Was Hot" T-shirt.
right.
On that note,
Well, luckily for Derek Lewis, he made them on his own, so he had the right idea.
yeah,
But like these little sound bits and these little moments that become like really hot social media topics, these need to become like shirts and gear and but it needs to just look good. It needs to look like somebody put some actual thought into this. Like these kits, these dudes are fighters, man. Like these kits should be fire. Like it should really look like oh he's wearing that kit. Like oh he's actually about that.
Imagine you ever seen those T-shirts from like Urban Outfitter or even the crap what's the name of the boxing line the Root of Fighters Fighter Roots or something like that.
Yeah, Root of Fight.
Yeah, Root of
Yeah.
Fight. Where they have like the Legends lines and they have like the Muhammad Ali T-shirts and like they'll have him standing over Sonny Liston that picture. Where's
Right.
that picture of like Jorge Masvidal kneeing Ben Askren in the face?
Right.
Or Jon Jones
And even
or Israel Adesanya hitting that spinning back elbow on Kelvin Gastelum.
Or him even just doing a dance.
Exactly. Like
and like the Root of Fight shirts aren't even like those designs aren't even like really that intricate.
nah.
Like they're pretty basic design, but they look cool. Like if you're a fight fan, like especially if you're a hardcore fight fan, like you'll appreciate the Root of Fight line. Like they take these moments in history in combat sports, they put it on a T-shirt, but they at least make it like look presentable.
Right.
And like it looks cool to wear. Like that's a shirt you could wear in public, and somebody who's a fight fan might stop you, and y'all might actually like have a quick, 20-30 second conversation just based off the shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not happening with a Reebok kit. They're kicking you out the store. They're not letting you buy groceries. Like,
I mean, to be like, what did Reebok put like what $70 million on the table? It's not exactly like net worth or revenue, whatever. Reebok revenue per year, it's like $1 billion. Like they put $70 million over 7 years into this. Like it's not like it's like $10 million a year for a company that generates like $1 billion in sales every year.
right.
It's not like they're hurting. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's on the whole, the only way I see it getting better is if fighters unionize and had an actual seat at the bargaining table. Other than that, it would be a fighter going and sitting down with whoever to come up with a line. Oh, somebody who I thought of while we were talking who might, I want to say take the bait because, maybe they'll be able to make money on it. I doubt that Reebok made any money off the UFC apparel. But somebody who might want to see at the table is Puma. They signed a deal with the WNBA last year. They've been trying to buy up the top draft picks for. They did it last year with DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if they were able to grab anybody this year. Draft pick. But it. They signed RJ Barrett. I know that. So like yeah, like. They're out here trying to make moves. They're trying to find their footing. I could see Puma taking a seat at the table. Be like, we'll put up $80 million over 7 years.
And put a little more effort into your kits, actually.
I mean, they got Jay-Z.
Yeah. We'll see. You hope for the best, but yeah. Yeah, not too optimistic. But
in part because of affliction, wearing any UFC gear feels douchebaggy.
Right.
So.
But there's definitely room for improvement.
I mean,
but
hopefully this time around they get the names right.
Yeah. No more Gibbler. Well, Gibbler's not in the UFC anymore.
Sad. That T-shirt.
I forgot to mention that on the clip. Yeah, he got cut, but or released. I don't know what happened, but yeah, get no more Gibbler Melendez.
I want that shirt, damn it.
Yeah, that's a gem. Like the Giblet shirt is a gem. Hold on to that if you got it. But thank you, Alex, for the question. That was a really good question. Moving on. At Alejandro CJ3. Shout out to him. He actually was the one person who sent in an email. So thank you, sir. And this kind of goes back somewhat to the question. I mean, not to the question, to the fight with Kobe Northcutt and one championship and the weight cutting. His question is, where do you stand on the policies and acted about one championship to address the weight cutting issue. Are they actually good, or are they just lip service, seeing that they don't really release specifics about anything?
It is all lip service. That I have no doubt that there are fighters who actually like follow the policy, or maybe not follow, but like they're not cutting weight anymore. Like Demetrius Johnson's fighting up at 135. I doubt he's cutting any weight anymore, or any significant weight anymore. But like Angela Lee, is huge for 115, because those girls are women who fought at 105. And she is most certainly not naturally 115 pounds. Like, she is cutting weight. Same thing with like Colby. With Colby, like, she is significantly bigger than all the women in her division. In one, anyway, because they're women who probably fought like flyweight, who are fighting at what is now featherweight here in the United States and most of the world. So, I mean, I think it'd be good. Like not in the long run, but like a policy where you could actually enforce, where like, okay, you have to be within a certain amount of a certain range, and you can't be this much over on fight day, because that means you cut way too much and blah blah blah. But once said they wanted to do 80 events next year. You're telling me they're gonna have somebody go to your camp like two times over the span of like a month or two to weigh you and make sure that you're within the certain hydration range that you're supposed to be in? Like, they're mostly a skeleton crew, from what I understand. Maybe they've sent somebody out like on occasion to make it look like they did something. But yeah, I don't believe that for a second, especially if you're an Evolve MMA fighter, because the guy who owns Evolve MMA also owns the promotion. I'm never gonna get over that. Imagine if freaking the guy who what's his name, the owner of ATT, crap. Was it Lambert?
Don't get me lying. I would definitely probably get his name wrong.
I want to say it's Lambert, but Dan Lambert. Imagine if Dan Lambert owned the UFC. And he just booked ATT fighters to win the title. The vice president of fighter relations, or wherever it is, Matt Hume, is the coach of one of the fighters in Demetrius Johnson. Two of the fighters, Bibiano Fernandez.
No conflict of interest.
Exactly. No conflict.
Keep it moving.
They don't have oversight in Singapore. It's fine.
My quick, precise answer to this question, I kind of alluded to it earlier. On paper, I love the idea. On paper, I think there should be a lot done about weight cutting. I'm down for it having to be a percentage. And it's a little shady and non-transparent as one championship can be. I'll at least give them props for, like, they took swift action after like a fighter actually died. Like, that the worst possibility that could have happened, and they made an action to address it. So on paper, it's great. As far as application, at least for them, it's probably not being enacted in the way it should be. But as far as just the idea, as it just being an idea, I think it's a great idea. But I don't know if they're really implementing it the way it should be. But the idea is solid. So I don't know. I guess it's the thought that counts, maybe. Kind of, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that. Like the idea, but they probably need to work on the application. But I think other organizations who hopefully could be a little bit more transparent would at least take a look at that idea and try to borrow something from it, maybe make their own tweaks. But the idea is okay. But thank you, Alejandro, for the question. Appreciate it, good sir. Moving on, we got another three-parter. Oh, Hold up, I messed my notes up. The homie at Grabaka_Hitman. If you're on MMA Twitter, you know who this is. He has a 3-parter. So, first question. How does Joanna Violence match up against Weili Zhang, and who's your pick? Well, I'll start this off. I've been Zhang Gang for life. That is a for life commitment. So who's my pick? Can't waver now. So it's, I'm waving the Zhang Gang flag until it is no longer waivable. As far as the matchup, I think Joanna actually matches up really good. She looked great in her last fight. Like, she looked really good. Really good footwork. The combinations are crazy. If she gets in the pocket, man, she can just kind of go off. But I think it's a tough matchup for both. That strength that Weili Zhang has, man. Like, we saw it in we didn't see a lot in the Andrade fight. It didn't last that long, but you saw how hard Weili Zhang can hit. And if you've watched Zhang fights, which I know Grabaka has, I've seen him post them many times before. Like, just the physicality she has. Not somebody you can just bully around and just push up against the cage and she's just gonna take it. Like, you're gonna have to work for every inch you get. I think it's gonna be a really. I don't think this fight is official yet, but it seems like it's gonna happen.
Dana White made it sound like it's gonna happen next.
Yeah. So hopefully it does. I think it's gonna be a really close fight. I think it'll be a lot of back and forth rounds, but I'm gonna lean towards Zhang's strength and physicality being able to give her the edge, and the fact that I think if she can land some clean shots in succession, she might be able to either put Joanna out or she'll be able to stun her a couple of good times. So I think it's gonna be a really close matchup, but I'm gonna give Zhang the edge.
I'm gonna go Zhang. Again, Michelle Waterson was just like a great matchup for Joanna, and that's not me taking away a good performance from her. So I don't take too much away from that fight, other than Joanna can still do the things that she was doing before. This is such a weird matchup because I'm thinking of that Tisha Torres fight where Tisha Torres pushed Joanna up into the cage and proceeded to get beat up there, as opposed to you, because she was so hell-bound on that takedown, as opposed to like breaking along the cage and like doing her thing there. It's such a weird fight because it's just coming from it from like the perspective of like being a Zhang fan or whatever. Like, Zhang gets to the UFC, she gets a weird matchup against Danielle Taylor, who's just somebody who's impossible to look good against, right? Then she fights Jag, who is a shell of herself and just absolutely blitzes her, gets her out of there real quick. And she fights Tisha Torres, and it's primarily a kickboxing clinic from Zhang. She's able to, in large part because Zhang is just a higher output fighter than Torres, is able to beat her at distance, take her down when they get real close, all that good stuff. And we know that Torres is not that great off her back. And then she gets Jessica Andrade, and just absolutely, she gets Andrade to walk onto something and is able to put her away from there. So I don't know if there's anything in her history that tells me that she's going to be able to handle the volume of someone like Joanna. But at the same time, Joanna is somebody who, if you put her in there with somebody who's quick, powerful, and strong, she gets hurt early. She got hurt early against Gadella. She got hit. She didn't get hurt, but she got rocked pretty hard twice in the first round against, or hit really hard twice in the first round against Andrade. And we've seen what happens when someone who's really quick is able to get her to move backwards towards the fence and is able to leap in with that left hook like Rose Namajunas was able to do. So I'm going to go with Zhang, but I'm not sold that she will be able, like, she's going to win the back half of the fight. Maybe she gets out to her early lead and it comes down to whether or not that third round is competitive. Or maybe she just knocks her out in the first round. You never know.
Yeah, that's a 50-50. Like, as much as I love Zhang, there are a lot of variables in that fight to consider.
And there's another thing. Like, Zhang is not showing that she slows down in the fight at all. From what I remember, like, she won the third round against Taylor after losing the second because she got rocked. She won the third round against Isha Torres, and we haven't seen her outside of that in the UFC anyway. So still really hard to tell how she does late, but like I'm not worried that she's going to fade in the fourth and fifth round like Claudia Gadelha or something. But Joanna Jędrzejczyk is more than capable of making the adjustments to her game to call her way back into a fight. She did against Valentina Shevchenko. She's arguably the best conditioned fighter in the UFC. So it wouldn't surprise me if she's just able to outpace her late. Outwork her. So it's gonna be a great fight. One of the fights I'm most looking forward to next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hopefully we definitely get that one. That's an awesome. That division just has so many good fighters. And that's just another like really just premier matchup. Oh boy, his next question is a doozy. I've been trying to cheat on this one and I still don't have an answer. Second question: what's your favorite women's MMA fight of the last decade?
Ooh, this is a toughie.
Yeah, that's almost not even a fair question. Like, for one, it's hard for me because I have terrible memory. I don't be remembering what decade, what any fight happened in. But women's MMA, I feel like a lot of the best fights have they been in this decade? I don't know. Terrible memory. Don't listen to me.
All right. So I think there is going to be a strawweight fight.
I'll be quiet. I think I know what you're in. I think we might have the same answer.
Jędrzejczyk versus Gadelha 2.
Yeah. When I saw this question, that was the first fight that popped in my head.
Yeah,
was Joanna Gadelha.
Yeah, that's an all-time classic. That wasn't just like best women's fight of the decade. That's like one of the best fights of the decade.
Yeah. And one of the best championship performances you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely just amazing heart on Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Got dropped in like the first 3 rounds, but was able at some point was winning rounds like something like 50 to 60 significant strikes to like 7.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like, the reason I call her the best conditioned fighter in the UFC is because of that fight. Because I'm trying to think of a performance like that on the men's side, and I cannot think of anything even remotely close. There's that fight. You want to get one out, or you want to talk about that one a little bit more?
I'll just continue a little bit on that point. That was the first fight that popped in my head because, for one, you were the one who were telling me I needed to watch that fight because that was one of the few UFC events that I did not like actually get to see. I had to go back and watch that fight like months later after it happened, and I'm actually surprised people don't talk about that fight more. Like, that was an amazing fight. Like, you don't see many champions come back the way she came back in that fight. Cause it looked like she was surely about to lose. Like, she was Joanna was getting worked a little bit, and she you don't see fights like that. That's a different kind of. That was the fight that like put her in like another echelon. Like when her career is over and you look back at everything in totality, like, but she's an all-time great. Like the only other fight I could think of, I don't know. Like I almost wanted to say Angela Lee and
May.
yeah, and May Yamaguchi. Yeah, that was the only other one I could think of.
All right, so I actually thought of a couple. One is Alexa Grasso Mizuki back at
Yep, that was a good one.
back at Invicta something. I can't even remember the name. But one that I'm surprised I forgot is actually Misha Tate versus Julie Kedzie.
That was a good
Yeah,
one.
where Julie Kedzie is beating the ever living crap out of Misha Tate. And Misha Tate is just able to lock up an armbar and get the win.
Misha has a lot of good fights.
Yes, no, Misha Tate.
Misha has a lot of good fights under her belt.
Especially on that run to the title, the UFC title, I should say. And that's what happens when you're a sponge, you know.
Yeah. I'll go Angela Lee, May Yamaguchi. Like Angela Lee, weight cutting stuff aside, she's put on some really gutsy performances. Even earlier this year with the Jingnan, is that her name? I can't remember.
Yeah.
In a fight where she was probably going to be on her way to losing, and albeit I know suplexes are apparently a rule, but I don't care about rules, so in any other promotion that would have been fine. That's how I justify it. She's put on some really, really gutsy performances, and that's the Yamaguchi fight. That was an amazing display. So just to have I think the only reason I kind of ranked the Joanna Gadelha fight above that is just I felt like the skill sets are just different. Like the Joanna is like, that's like creme de la creme. I mean, and Gadelha was too. Like at the time, because Gadelha's been like a little slide as of recent. But back when they fought, that was creme de la creme of not just women's, of MMA in general. Those were two of the best fighters you would ever see at any given time. So yeah, I'm probably still gonna have to go Joanna Gadelha too, but I'll give Yamaguchi Angela Lee a close honorable mention. Grabaga's last question. I like this one. Now that we've witnessed a clean rolling thunder KO, what's your dream MMA knockout / finish that hasn't yet occurred in the sport?
Ooh.
And he said he wants a axe kick KO.
That's the one I was gonna say.
I've had an answer for this for forever.
Oh, you do?
I've been dreaming of this for I don't think my KO is gonna happen because I don't know if you could generate enough force to land it as a KO. You might be able to get a TKO. Maybe you could stun him with this, but it won't be the one punch that ends it. I need to see a Shoryuken. And I've been thinking about this for the longest time. And not only I know it has to be from Tony Ferguson, because I think he's the one guy who's crazy enough that he can pull this off. I need to see somebody hit a little crouch under, hit a jumping, spinning uppercut. I don't know if you could generate enough force to KO somebody off of it, but you could at least rock them, and that could lead to a TKO. And I feel like Tony Ferguson is the perfect person to pull this off. It doesn't have to be perfect form. The Shoryuken, if you play Street Fighter, for any of you guys who aren't gamers or you're not familiar, you know a Shoryuken uppercut when you see one. He might not be able to get the exact form. It's an MMA fight. Things can get kind of sloppy, kind of wild. But if I can get my jumping, spinning uppercut, I don't need anything else ever from this sport again. I would be 100% satisfied. So yeah, my answer is a Shoryuken, and I want it from Tony Ferguson.
All right. Solid answer. I have one that's kind of cheating and then one that's legit, or as legit as it's going to probably never happen. But one is I want to know what Demetrius Johnson's actual mousetrap submission is because what we saw him do to Ray Borg apparently wasn't it. What do you call that? The whiz bar or something like that. So I want to know what that actually is because apparently it hasn't been done in MMA before. But for an actual like finish that we haven't seen, but we've seen people try to do in MMA, I want to see somebody knock somebody out with a drop kick. Missile drop kick.
That could happen, but it probably have to be kind of like the Askren Masvidal. Like you just gotta start
hell
off
yeah.
you just gotta run forward and just go for broke right out the gate. I feel like that could happen on like a regional promote. I feel like that could.
It's probably happened on a regional promotion, or in like a drunken like brawl outside of a Denny's at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Yeah, somebody's landed a drop kick. I'm down for that. I mean, we saw Walls of Jericho on I don't remember what promotion that was, but if we can, oh no, not a Walls of Jericho, it was Boston Crab.
It was the Boston Crab.
Yeah. If somebody can land a Boston Crab, I don't think a drop kick is too much to ask for.
We've seen people do fireman's carries, but I want somebody to do the full like the full FU, John Cena style. I mean, that wouldn't knock anybody. That wouldn't knock most people out. I shouldn't say anybody, but it'd still be really funny. But yeah, no, I want to see somebody missile drop kick somebody into being knocked out.
There we go. I like that. That'd probably be KO of the year, like automatic. You land that, and they get knocked out cold. Yeah, I like that. 2020. Let's aim for some creative KOs, guys. If you're a fighter and you listen to this, man, I need you to really dig into your bag. Really get in the creative bag with these KOs. But shout out to Grabaka Hit, man. Appreciate the question. At Diogen. Shout out to the homie Diogen, man. Always comes through my streams. Shout out to all the Dead End Gaming crew. All the people who I've came across in my little internet Twitch journeys. So shout out to him. He has 2 questions. First one, what's a rule change you think the UFC needs or should be implemented?
Knees to the head of the ground opponent.
God, I feel like I was gonna say something. Not knees. What's the other one I was gonna do? God, I had an answer for this, and now I can't remember it. Oh no, you know what? I was gonna say soccer kicks, and then I'll take it back. If Francis Ngannou soccer kicks somebody,
They might ban the sport.
Yeah, I don't want to be around when that happens. I think rule change. I don't like the I think they should or actually you know what, I got 2. I thought of one. I don't know if this is technically a rule change, but it's just a change in general. I like fights being judged as a whole rather than round by round. I would like to see that instead of, you know, he won round 1, he won round 2, he won round 3, so on and so forth. I like the fight being judged as a whole. And I would love, and one that would probably be, I don't know, easier to change. Nobody likes to change anything, but, well, actually, I guess that's what you said, the knees to the ground of the opponent. I don't like that whole, like, oh, I got my hand on the ground, you can't hit me. No, that's trash. Get hit.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just piggyback off of you. Yeah, I don't. That game is just kind of stupid. You need to make it one way. Either you can't touch them at all, or the dude just got to start getting kneed, and it just kind of is what it is. Yeah, I would like to see that be changed. So knees to the ground of the opponent, and I would like to see the judging be changed to scoring fights as a whole, rather than a round by round.
Ooh, I got a weird one. I don't know if I would like it long term, but I would like to see like a short term experiment. I'd like to see them allow people to put their fingers in the cage.
You gonna get somebody's gonna get.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there will be some dislocated shoulders from people trying to stop the takedown, but I want to see it happen.
You're gonna piss a lot of people off. There's gonna be a lot of angry people. But hey, man, you want to throw that on a regional promotion, see if it sticks. Hey, why not? And I don't know. I'll do one more before we move on because that's the second question. Some kind of change regarding like title defenses, like, and I guess I don't know how you would really regulate this, because this would exclude injury, I guess, to a certain point, but there needs to not be people like not fighting for like like these extended periods of time and you're holding a belt. If you're injured, cool, you can get a little more lenient in terms of your timetable. But like if you're healthy and you got a belt, there needs to be some kind of limit as to how long you can hold this belt. And it needs to be kind of short to me. Like I don't like seeing dudes just wait out for extra long because you're trying to cherry pick somebody. Like, let's keep the train rolling, man. Like, a lot of these divisions are really deep. There are plenty of, well, all right, we're going to exclude like 205 and heavyweight. They operate on their own little rules, but like, there are too many good fighters for us to be having like these log jams and these weird situations. Like, we got to keep the ball rolling, man. I'm down for making people fight a little bit quicker. I don't know what that exact timetable would be. Logistics would need to be worked out, but something like that I would like to see change.
My only concern in those type of situations is just contract negotiations, where like they offer somebody a fight, and like it's just kind of like a shit deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I said like I don't know how that would be implemented. It would probably have to be a lot of stipulations of some sort, but I don't know. Or maybe just I don't know. I just want something to kind of be done about that. I don't like a lot of this stalling and just there are too many good fighters for belts to not be defended. To have like a lot of these talented guys and women just sitting on the sideline because the champ don't know who they want to fight. Like you got the belt, you knew what this was. Everybody's after you. Go, run the gauntlet. You know what this is. But Diogen's second question: would you welcome the stage environment change instead of the octagon, like if they fought in a coliseum? I'm all for it.
But
Coliseum, park, where else would you fight? That's cool.
well, my only concern is you get somebody like Lyoto Machida, who sees all of that open space, and he's just like, no one will ever touch me again.
Well, I mean, you still be inside. I think he just means like inside of a. You would still be inside of a ring or a cage, but you know, instead of like in a arena, like you'd be outside somewhere. I'm assuming that's what he meant. I'm definitely down for a Coliseum fight. I'm honestly shocked that nobody's tried to set this off already. Yeah, I'm down for it. I don't think it should be something that should be done like often, but every now and again, just to mix it up. I'm down for a little environment switch up.
Yeah.
Don't throw them in the pit like they do Karate Con.
Why?
So.
Everybody loves the pit.
But you can't fit like 20,000 people down there. You know.
Oh my God, it's just like
the fans can't witness
I
that.
can. MMA is a
gotta get
TV
the-
sport anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. He could still throw them on a boat. So I don't know. I do like. I wouldn't mind an environment change though. Just every now and again.
Mo.
Switch things up.
Mo.
Yeah.
Mo. I want to fight Mo.
You said Mo. Ah, so you keep everybody else on the other side of the water.
Yeah.
And you guys, yeah. I see where you're going. I like that. I see where you're going. But shout out to Jojen. Appreciate the question. At the _MMA_nerd. She's got a 3-parter. First question. What do you think of the Reyes-Jones matchup?
I think it's interesting. I think Reyes presents a bunch of issues that Jones hasn't seen since the first Gus fight, and I think he presents them in a way that's, uh, I'm not gonna say better than Gus, but different than Gus. Um, like for one thing, if he gets pressured backwards, he's not gonna just turn tail and run.
Right.
He will knock you off. He will knock you out off the back foot. He can knock you out off the back foot. I worry a little bit about his cardio because we've seen him go 3 rounds and not look great. So 5 rounds with somebody like Jones who's basically done 5 rounds for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
So I'm worried from that aspect, but like I think I'm not gonna say Dominick Reyes like he is. Like I said, I think Jones is looking down on his competition. It leaves plenty of holes to be exploited. I will say Jones has a damn good chin on him, so I don't expect him to get one touch like like Reyes did to Weidman. Um, but I do expect him to get touched. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless Jones brings back the wrestling. Like, imagine this is the fight where he's like, yeah, I'm going to learn to double leg or go for the inside trip from the clinch again.
I am cautiously optimistic for Reyes. I think he has a really good shot at winning this, to be honest. Um, I know a lot of people were down on Reyes because of the Ozdemir fight. A lot of people felt like he didn't win. And that's cool. I'm not going to fault you for that. It was a really close fight. And maybe not one of Reyes' best performances, but also Ozdemir is just a really tough, like, that's a tough dude, man. He ain't easy out for anybody. But for me, like, a big part of fighting is just, you hear this in all sports. Styles make matchups make fights, or matchups make games, whatever sport you're going to apply it to. And like Ozdemir is not the same guy as Jones. Those are two fights you have to kind of approach differently. I think Reyes can give Jones a lot of problems. He has the length to match him. Really athletic. He hits really hard. As we've seen against like Jones is a creative striker, but not really a power puncher. I think Reyes will be able to get inside and tag Jones a good number of times. Um, I don't think Jones is gonna have an easy time. Like I don't think he's gonna walk through Reyes at all. So I'm cautiously optimistic that Reyes is actually gonna give Jones a really tough fight. But my only questions for Reyes is kind of like you said, if this goes into deep waters, I think Reyes has a good chance early in the fight. Once it gets to that 4th and 5th round, don't know how the gas tank's gonna hold up, and it's still Jon Jones. Like you still need to fight like a really good, you know. Jones still has like one of the best like fight IQs. You still have to be on your P's and Q's. You can't be out there being really sloppy or, you still really need to be on your A game. And we've kind of seen Reyes' performances to me have been kind of up and down a little bit. But you kind of just in the fire now. Like there's kind of no turning back.
Right.
Especially once he beat Ozdemir, it was kind of like, all right, you kind of have no choice but to put you here. Like you just that's it.
Exactly.
And then so he's just kind of here, and he's just gonna have to deal with it. So it's a matter of can he really just quote unquote I guess like rise to the occasion. Like spotlights on you, everybody's watching. This is the fight where you really have to like put it all together. But I think he's gonna give Jones a really really tough fight. I'll save predictions as to whether he'll win or not. Save that for later, but he's gonna give him a really tough fight. And her second question is, who do you think headlines UFC London?
Till versus Whitaker, apparently.
Yeah, I would say it's got to be Till. I would hope. I feel like that's the fight that kind of makes the most sense. I don't know why I was thinking Leon Edwards at one point. But I was like, are they really gonna let him headline?
He
I mean, well,
headlined against the Cowboys.
Yeah, he did.
But by then,
He's the only.
but by then, like I expect it. Well, you think they're gonna give Masvidal a title shot next? Because I was gonna say by then I expect him to have like a title fight, like he'd be in negotiation for a title fight. But if you know, if they're lining up Masvidal for a title fight, like I don't see it.
Yeah. I don't know. Because weirdly, well, I haven't been keeping an eye on this Nick Diaz Masvidal thing. I hope that's a lot of smoke and mirrors. But as crazy as UFC is, I could see them pulling the trigger on that fight. And then that could give Edwards the go ahead to get his title fight. Maybe. But I'm probably going to say, most likely, it's going to be Till and Whitaker. And possibly Leon Edwards, but I just feel like other things would have to happen for Leon to get that spot. But I'm like 99.9% sure it's going to be Till and Whitaker. And I hope that is the fight. That's the fight that I would be interested in seeing. I think it's a good fight to still kind of see what Till can do at middleweight, and we can kind of see like where Robert Whitaker is after that, after his fight against Adesanya. See if he makes any changes, if he makes any adjustments to his game or anything like that. So I hope that's the fight we get. Do the fight that makes sense. That's the fight I want to see. Her last question, the questions that really matter. And I'm gonna assume, because I know a bit of her Twitter personality, that when she's asked who's better, she ain't talking about fighting skills. So, do you prefer Ostovich or Cortez? And for those who don't know, she is referring to Rachael Ostovich and God. What is Cortez?
Tracy.
Tracy. There's a picture floating around of both of them too. I am going to link. You know what? Hold up. I ain't gonna lie. When she sent me that question, because there was a picture of both of them floating around with like a side by side. I'm gonna refer to this picture in real time, real quick. Give me a quick. give me a quick second. I was leaning towards Ostovich. All right, come on, Google Images. Come on. Okay, all right, got the picture. All right, I need the picture to enlarge because I can. There we go. God, I hate pulling up stuff on my phone. I'll say first, there are no wrong answers. Let's get that out there. There's no bad choice in this. But if I had to choose, I'm probably gonna have to go Ostovich. Actually, you know what? Not even 1, 2, 3. The Wonder Woman thing, like, you got me. On top of everything else, but the whole. I don't know if she really does that anymore.
Probably not.
She probably does at weigh-ins. I would imagine.
Probably not, because she's in the UFC now. So.
Oh yeah, they're not
no
they're
fun
not
zone.
Friendly with. Yeah, no fun zone. But I remember seeing her in Invicta, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm down with this the Wonder Woman action. So yeah, I'm gonna give Ostovich this W. She's yeah. Ostovich is getting the W for me.
I mean, Sam, like you said, there's no wrong answer, but Ostovich.
Yeah. But shout out to both of them though, man. You know what? This made me think again. I should have replied to her question, because remember we brought it up on the podcast a while ago. Like, everybody knows who the men thirst over, but like who are the women?
I'm imagining it's like Masvidal. Like,
I've seen that.
yeah,
Actually, you know what's crazy? Some of the women are thirsting over the women.
yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Okay. We got Ostovich on the beach. Yeah, no, Ostovich got it. Bruh. Bruh. The cheek, man. Yeah, yeah. No wrong answers, but Ostovich 1A, Cortez 1B. That's how we gonna do that. And all right, we're actually getting close to the end. I've made. This is random in the middle of the podcast. I might release this in 2 episodes because I like these questions are running a bit long, but I like it, and I kind of want to make this its own thing.
Right.
So
We're not gonna have one next week.
Yeah, that is true. So we may split this episode into 2. Because you guys did send in the questions quick. I might release that episode this Monday. So if you're listening to this, this mailbag episode will be Monday, and I may do the we'll do the Wilder fight and all that. We'll put that out next week because I don't think we'll cover that then. I don't think there's much going on next week. And even if there is, we deserve a week off. We work really hard, and it'll be 2 episodes. We've pretty much almost been going 3 hours, so I might split this into 2. But thank you, MMA Nerd. Appreciate the question. All right, down to the nitty gritty. These last 2 questions come from people you guys should be familiar with if you've been listening to this podcast. One of them is from the gentleman who is digitally sitting across from me. So we'll get to his question first.
Answer the question, Sensei.
There we go. All right. So the anti-cool, he submitted his own question via Instagram. So his question for me is, who wins, Prime Lobov or Prime Giant Silva and Bare Knuckle? So as you guys know, if you've listened to me, I'm not a bare knuckle advocate. But I have to answer the question. But my first question before I answer this, even though I've already had my answer in mind, I forgot who did Silva fight? And bare knuckle?
Giant Silva. I don't think he's ever fought bare knuckle.
He didn't fight yet? I thought he fought. Okay. Well, either way.
Let me double check. Because if he has fought bare knuckle and I haven't seen it. Wait. I don't mean Bigfoot Silva. I mean Giant Silva.
Who's Giant? Oh, is that the hold up.
The basketball player.
Giant. Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. God, how tall was he? He was 7'2".
Yep.
Yeah, so if people don't know, this is the gentleman we're referring to is Paulo Cesar Silva, aka Giant Silva. He looks like how would I describe this?
Bigfoot Silva on steroids.
Yeah. He looks like a wrestler.
He is a wrestler.
Okay, this makes a lot of sense.
Now.
Everything about him says I was in like the Attitude Era. Actually, no, probably before that.
Well, he signed with the WWF in 1997. He got debuted under Giant Silva, and then he was gone like 2 years later because he's not good. He's not athletic at all.
All right, so to put this into context, you have a man who's 7'2" against Lobov, who's probably not even 6 foot.
But have you seen him fight?
Well, I have not, but I'm looking at his record. He went out on a win, but that was in 2006. Before that, he lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fight streaks. Notable fights against Heath Herring, James Thompson.
Manoa, man.
Oh, he fought Manoa? Oh, he did fight Manoa. He
got knocked out by Manoa.
So I'm gonna well, you know what? I don't watch bare knuckle, but I follow people that do, so I have to judging by the information that I've gathered, Lobov is the GOAT of bare
He
knuckle.
just got knocked out. So Jason Knight's now the GOAT of bare knuckle.
Nah, that's not true. Well, no, they're 1-1 though. They fought twice. Didn't they fight twice? They're 1-1, I think.
So trilogy. Let's go.
So he's still like, yeah. So he's the GOAT consensus is still, it's up for debate, but he's still, if he loses the next one, then he gotta change the guard. But he's holding on to it by a thread. So I'm gonna have to say the GOAT is gonna take this. Now, how he reaches his hand up there and gets up there, I don't know. But if I've learned one thing about Lobov, is he's a man who does not quit. I've never seen Lobov give up. He doesn't wither. The man is a fighter to the end. If there's somebody who can figure out how to jump up like a whole foot and try to wing a right hand, I can see him doing it. And it's bare knuckle. Like, he might land that one right, cut him open, it might be over. I don't know. I'm going to say Prom Lobov has the fight of his life, and he gets it done. I mean, John Silva hasn't fought since 2006. He's not ready. Lobov been out here in these streets. He's been keeping his hands busy. Who knows what John Silva's been doing. So I'm going to say Prom Lobov via TKO. He's getting the 7-foot out of here. He can land a lot of body shots. Oh, yeah, he's definitely winning, yeah. Liver shot. Liver shot to the 7-footer. Lobov wins national.
Yeah. Ireland's greatest son.
Oh, man. I apologize. I accidentally, thank God I actually went back and looked at the original post. I almost skipped a question. So 2 more questions actually. Well, technically 3 because the last submission is a 2-parter. Shout outs to the homie at Flex the Mind. His question is, should the UFC provide MMA fighters with mental health support? Who would benefit the most? Who would benefit the most? Though it is too late, who do you feel could benefit best from it now?
Like from a personal standpoint, or from like a standpoint, like they'll get their lives together and be able to fight more continuously.
I feel like if you do a mental health service, it probably would, maybe some would be for both, I guess. I don't know, either or, whichever way you want to answer. Well, I guess the base question is, should the UFC provide that service?
Like directly, or should they pay for the service? Or I'm probably going way too into it. In the current hellscape that is American healthcare, yes, because they're employees, no matter what the UFC and the core system says. So yeah, they should, because it's a very we undersell how much how mental this is. Like, even from the aspect, like, besides the performance aspect, it's like performing in front of people, it's doing all these interviews, it's like having like all this expectation, is money put in behind you without getting a lot in return. Like, it's a high stress job. Like like like, we only ever see the results. We don't actually see like the whole build up to like an actual fight. But most of these people are spending like 2-3 months out of the year, or 2 or 3 months, 5 to 6 days a week, training 6 to 8 hours a day to get ready for these things. Like, that takes a lot of mental fortitude, and I'm not sure how much that takes away from their performance, to say, but like it can't be healthy on just their like living habits. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now somebody will probably benefit from like from seeing a mental health professional. Rose Namajunas, particularly after the incident at, I forget the number. Was it UFC 238 or 236 or the one where McGregor threw a friggin' trolley through the bus?
Yeah.
Because that seemed to really mess her up mentally. She still went on, won her fight that weekend, but like that messed her up for months after that. To this day, really, if you listen to her talk. I'm trying to think like people who have like mental blocks. Like John Cerrone was somebody who said like a sports psychologist really helped him out. Who do you think? What's your stance on this, Sensei?
I think it would be a good gesture. Like, even if they don't pay for it, at least I don't know, have like some recommendations or be able to point them in the right direction, or like make that. Well, I don't know because I don't pay attention to. I don't know how the Performance Institute works, but that should be like a part of the Performance
I believe
Institute.
it is. I think they have a sports
Yeah.
psychologist on staff.
Yeah. So yeah, that should, if they have it set up, then good. Like you should have a, but I think it should be both though. Like you should be able to have a sports psychologist, but also just like a life, like psychologist just in general. Because like what these fighters do, like this is, like we weren't made to do this. Like
Yeah.
like this was not. This was not, I think, in the original plan of humans that people were gonna make a living punching and kicking each other in the face. And like you said, like the toll it takes, and not only that, like you gotta think of, I mean, every fighter has their own like, I guess like philosophy and reasons they fight, but some people really tie like their like worth into this. So it's like if I don't perform good or I get knocked out and I have a bad night, then it means like I'm not a great person, I'm not worthy. Like that could really, really weigh on a
Yeah.
person. Like
Exactly.
yeah. On top of all of the other stuff you got to deal with like the pressure and dealing with media and fans who talk to you any kind of way, you know, that's a lot to deal with. So yeah, I think there definitely should be some kind of mental health service, whether it be a sports psychologist or just a psychologist just for your regular, psychologists that maybe help you out with like the whole work-life balance in terms of trying to balance like training and media obligations and spending time with your family. Because it only helps the fighters, and anything that helps the fighters helps your product. So I'm definitely
I
for
might have
it.
spoke too soon. I don't see. I'm looking at their what you call it? Not roster. I'm looking at the services page on the UFCPI. I don't see anything for like sports psychology. So
That's it. Well, that should definitely be there. Like that should at every PI, the one that they have in the U.S., the one that they're gonna open in China, anywhere else they put performing institutes, there should definitely be a psychologist on standby. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. Anything that helps the fighters, I'm for. Who would benefit the most? Um, I don't know. Like I don't really want to like pick on anybody. That's kind of a sensitive thing. I don't really want to throw anybody under the bus, but it's kind of wild because the first somebody commented under that question, the first person they said was Tony, uh, which I get because he had that whole episode that he had.
well, it's not even an episode. He's diagnosed with
Well,
what you call it?
yeah. So yeah, it I'm not gonna get into specifics of who needs it and who doesn't because like I don't know these people. I don't know their lives. I can only go by what I see on headlines. But obviously, when you see a situation like Tony, like that's kind of an alarming thing. So that's probably you actually, you know what? You know who I think needs it the most, and this isn't anybody specific. This is just in general. I think it really needs to be the most for people who are transitioning out of MMA. Like,
That's a good one.
yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah, you need it. Yeah, you need it for these people. When the guy or the whoever it is, the woman is, they hit like that age, they start hit like those mid-30s. I think they're gonna be the ones that really need it because this is pretty much for any sport. You spend your whole life training to kind of do this one thing, and unfortunately, like physically your body just can't do it forever, and at some point you're gonna have to stop. And these people are going to need a pretty large majority of them. Some of them, have life outside of MMA. They're doing great. They had other things and they have other talents, but the majority of them, like, this is all they know. It's just competing in some shape or form. They need they need some assistance on how to deal with life when their worth isn't tied to fighting. Like, they're the ones who need it the most. So I won't say a specific name, but anybody who's transitioning out of MMA and either going into another business or they're retiring, they probably need the psychologist the most. So that's how I'll answer that question. But shout outs to Flex. Really, really good question. That was a really, really good question. I like that one. And to close out, our good friend, Sports Sound Off from Tumblr. Well, I don't know, because don't Joey and Alex, don't both of them run that account? Do they? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
either
they
way.
do.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume Joey asked, but shout out to Alex too. I don't know which one of them asked the question. But the first question was, sum up the 2019 combat sports year in one word.
Wacky. Crap, I saw that and I had an answer and it escaped my head. So
Hey, I've been staring at this for a while now. It's hard. This is
I think wacky's a good word for it. Like,
yeah.
from Henry Cejudo knocking the shit out of TJ Dillashaw and Marlon Moraes to to the way that that DC and Jessica Andrade and Rose Namajunas lost the titles, to the way that the middleweight division's been taken over by an anime nerd who's tweeting out the word hentai on his own account.
He called Jones a noob.
Yeah. It's been a wacky year, man.
Oh man.
It's been a wacky year. It feels weird. Like, it feels like we didn't get all the fights we were supposed to get this year. You know what I mean?
We never do.
Yeah.
I feel like my one word isn't a description, more so it's just a reaction. It's a word that I love to use. It's a reaction I love to use because it just applies to a lot. My word to describe combat sports in 2019 is yikes.
You know what? That's good.
And like it applies for, like, there have been yikes moments where it's like, yikes, that KO was really nasty.
Right.
Or yikes, you really got on a microphone and you just you said that. Or just like, I don't know, it applies to
so many situations.
Yeah, it applies to it. Like, the first thing that popped in my head was poor Sage Northcutt getting his head taken off by
Cosmo.
Yeah, Cosmo. Like, yikes. Like, Jesus Christ, that man got clean. I'm gonna go yikes. There were a lot of moments this year that just kind of made me say that phrase. Like, ooh, like, man. So that's my word. And his last question, which I think is an interesting way to end and close out this episode. I'm gonna reword this because I think he wrote it kind of whip. I think I understand what he was trying to say. Well, I'll read exactly what he wrote. Who is MMA in 2019 biggest disappointment? I think what he meant to say was who's the biggest disappointment in MMA in 2019? I'm assuming that's what he meant. This was hard. This was another question that I stared at for a while, and I was really struggling.
I got one.
I'll let you get. I gotta think on
And it's Connor.
that.
He didn't even fight this year. It's Connor. Dude has, again, two separate like sexual assault investigations open against him theoretically right now. The shit in Miami where he took a man's phone and crushed it or destroyed it. The stuff going on with his team. John Kavanaugh basically, like SBG basically imploding, which we haven't talked about in the show, but that's happening. And his weirdo calls for a rematch in the fight where he got beat bell to bell. Like, the answer is Connor. And I'm not sure if that's disappointment or, like, you know, we all expected this and this is everything just coming to a head, but, like, come on. Also, he assaulted an old man in a bar.
He did. He did. I guess for me, like, I couldn't put him as a disappointment because I think I've just kind of been, like, over him. And I'm just, kind of like you said, I'm just expecting, like, at this point, like, if I see a headline with Connor and it's not followed by, like, an official fight announcement, then I'm just kind of like, whatever, man. Like, I just feel like I've kind of been through with him for a while. Man, this is a hard question for me. Biggest disappointment. 'Cause I feel like disappointment has like a bad
Negative connotation, yeah.
Actually, you know what? I guess I do have one. And when I say disappointment, like I'm still a fan of this person. I think it was, and this happens to all of us. It was a fight I was really looking forward to, and in my mind, I was really convinced that he was gonna win. And not only did he not win, like he caught hands on hands on hands to the point where the person he was fighting had to pick his hands up and remind him to defend himself.
Was that
So my biggest disappointment, if I had to pick one, is Brian Ortega getting the everlasting life beat out of him by Max Holloway.
That wasn't this year.
That wasn't?
It was in, I mean...
Please tell me that was because I don't got no other answer. Was that not this year?
That was UFC 231, and that was in December of last year.
Oh, I was close. God, I thought that was this year. God. Oh, there you go. Mark that down with my other mess up I had from the award show we did last year. I told you I'm terrible with dates. Do I have any other? This. Oh, I don't know why it took me so long to think of this. Horiguchi getting knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
I almost wanted to log off of Twitter for like a week after that. Like, and Kyle Sakura, man, that's a bad man, so I can't like hate on him too much. But watching Horiguchi lose like that was not a highlight I was ready to see. Not a lot of fights like hurt, but that one hurt. Like I felt some kind of way after that was over. Like he really got like cleaned, and like I wanted to help him. Like, I guess that, and I'm disappointed every year that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence doesn't happen. That's my underlying disappointment. I want to see that fight really bad, and I feel like it's getting further and further away. Those are my two disappointments of the year. But I went back to double check. I'm pretty sure that is all of the questions. Don't think I missed anybody. Nope. Yep. So that was it, man. Once again, man, thank you guys again and again for sending in those questions. If you're hearing this and this the episode's kind of funky. Because of the length of this episode, we probably will split this into two. So if you're listening on Monday, hopefully I can have this out by Monday. I got my work cut out for me because I'm gonna have to split this into two episodes. But this week, the week of Thanksgiving, you'll get our mailbag episode, and then that weekend of Thanksgiving, or that following Monday, we'll do. I'll chop up the rest of the episode. You'll get the glory recap and all of that, and that'll count for that week. Because there's not really much going on next week. No UFC cards still. I don't think Bellator has anything going on. Yeah, next week is going to be kind of quiet.
And we could sit here. We can discuss Cecilia Breakhouse versus who is she fighting? Bustos, Victoria Bustos, but I don't think we can get an hour out of that.
Right. So unless I come up with some other like creative idea, you'll probably just get the Glory recap and the Wilder Ortiz recap, and that'll just be that episode for the week. But if we come up with any other thing, we'll let you guys know. And then other than that, we'll be back. The following week is when everything kicks back up, right?
That's the Overeem Frozen Strip. Yep. And maybe we'll come back after Thanksgiving with our Frozen 2 hot takes. Let's go.
I'll let you handle that one. I don't even have a Frozen 1 hot take. Never seen it. I love animated movies. That one didn't speak to me. I still need to go back and watch Moana, though. I'm slipping on that one. I never watched it.
It was very good.
I didn't see the, what's the other one? Wasn't there like a Mexican thing?
Coco?
Yeah. I wanted to see Coco. I didn't see Coco either. Those are two on my list I gotta go check out. But yeah, so we recorded 2 episodes in one. I'll spice this up some kind of way, because we ran a little long. But yeah, I didn't want to hold you guys for 3 hours, so we'll just split it into 2, make it easier for you guys to listen to. I'll skip our fighter recommendations. I'm still gonna kind of cheat. We'll just skip so we can head on out of here. Any closing thoughts before we wrap everything up?
No.
Nothing. It's fine. We've been here for a while.
It's just like I'm struggling to think of anything right now. I don't know. Support regional MMA. Yeah, that's it. Support regional MMA. In fact, support regional bookstores. Fuck it.
There you go.
There's a random one.
There you go. I'm gonna tie my closing thought and fighter recommendation into the same thing. Just somebody to keep an eye on. Habib's real cousin, was it Umar Nurmagomedov? Yeah. He fought the other day. Don't know the promotion. I even forgot who he fought. I want to say he's like 10-0 now, 11-0. Can't remember the number, but he's still undefeated. He's also fought in PFL a couple times. He got a finish against the gentleman he fought the other day. Looks pretty good at bantamweight. He carries the Nurmagomedov name, but he doesn't fight anything like Habib. A lot more heavy on his striking. A lot more probably I would say creative and like dynamic compared to Habib with his striking. But just somebody to keep an eye on. You might end up. I feel like after that performance, we might end up seeing him. I don't know if he'll get to the UFC or if he ends up in Bellator. Not sure, but just somebody to keep an eye on. Undefeated prospect out there.
Oh, wait, I just remember something.
Okay.
So I think I mentioned it before, but if you're like a basketball fan, the New York Liberty now playing at the Barclays Center, summer 2020. But if you're a soccer fan and you live anywhere in Jersey, well, first off, I'm sorry, but secondly, the Sky Blue FC, they are moving from Rutgers down in New Brunswick up here to Newark, and they'll be playing at the Red Bulls Arena. So that's fun. More sports options.
There you go. Gotta find ways to keep yourself entertained.
Exactly.
Hopefully it's not too cold when you go.
No, they don't play now. They play in the spring
Oh yeah.
and throughout the summer.
There you go.
When I went in the summer to the Sky Blue game at the Red Bulls Arena that they had, it was 107 degrees, and my coworker's boyfriend took a picture of my head, and I'm bald, and you can imagine how that went.
He set you up. There you go, though. More and more sporting options. Maybe more affordable than some of the other sporting events you could go to. Unless you're going to a Redskins game, they got tickets for like $12. You can get club seats for like $60, which is insane.
Are they that bad?
Yes, they're terrible.
Okay.
They're awful.
See?
But I've never seen club seats. Like, club seats are normally pretty expensive. Like, you can get the club seat for the price of like a video game, which is kind of wild. But I don't like the Redskins.
That's why it sucks being a Knicks fan, because no matter how bad they get, that arena will sell out every fucking night.
They're still making you pay premium price. It's a setup, super setup. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all we got for today's episode. So once again, this episode will probably be split into two. So you'll get your glory and your fight recap next week. And if you listen to this on Monday, this should be the episode of the mailbag. So once again, thank you to everybody who submitted questions. All those were really good questions. Definitely enjoyed it. I love doing these kind of episodes. So appreciate you guys. But we're about to roll out here because we've been recording for a good 3 hours plus. So anytime, man, you want to listen to this podcast, give us a look. SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Play. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. So give us a look. Give us a look on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page, as well as the Instagram page. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Serial Sensei, and follow the Anti-Cool on Twitter at GC Zeus. So that is all we got for today. Thank you guys. Hope you have a nice weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. And as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And until next time, we will catch you guys later.